Hello, everyone. Welcome. How is everyone doing today? Welcome to the ABCs of Packing Light. I see we have a couple of people already joining me in the chat. Sharon and Juliet, thank you for tuning in. It is the ABCs of Packing Light. My name is Brooke. I am the founder of our packing list, a site that helps women to pack light and travel confidently. If you're here, feel free to chat along with me in the chat box. If you're tuning in later, leave me a comment and let me know you dropped by. I love to know who was here and who is getting some value out of these episodes, all right? Okay, so the ABCs of Packing Light. Each week we choose a different word from the next letter of the alphabet, and we talk about it in regards to packing light. And we are on episode R today. It's the 18th episode. Yeah, 18th episode, 18th week of doing these. And we are now in the 11th month of the year. Crazy. It's November. Happy November. What is going on in your world right now? Let me know. Did everyone have a fun Halloween? I know I did. Are you excited that we're coming up on the holiday festive season? Can you believe it? It feels a bit like it was just New Year's, but here we are. Let me know what's going on in your world. Always want to catch up. Okay, let me get my notes up for this episode. It is a good one. All right, episode R, everyone. Episode R. All right, let's get to the word of the day. And today's word is rules. Episode R is rules. Yes, that's a good one. I thought so. Rules, or you could say recommendations. We are going to talk about some rules that we use to pack light and to do it easily, quickly, and well. And of course, I have lots of general packing light rules that I talk about and recommend on her packing list and inside of my packing course, HPM. All right. So today we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you 10 just like quick general packing light rules. But before I go on and explain some of these rules, I want to know, do you have any general rules when packing that you follow? Like, do you have your own rules that help you to maintain a smaller size of packing or that keep you from going overboard? If you have any, share it with me in the chat or share it with me in the comments. Would love to know what you work off of before I share any of mine. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the benefits quickly of having packing rules. Okay, packing rules are great because they take some of the brain work out of the packing process. This is big, all right? I talk about this a lot. Having guidelines, having rules that you follow, having a process that you figured out and then just following it, it helps you to not have to think so hard every time you pack for a trip. And that makes packing quicker, faster, easier, less stressful. You're less likely to get in your own way, okay? if you do what the rule says, if you have these rules set in place, like you are guaranteed to have a specific kind of result, and you know what that result is, okay? So whether or not that is perfect for that specific trip, that's unknown. Depends on your travel style and preferences and the trip you're going on, right? But at least you will know of an outcome from the rules, and that gives you a place to work off of, right? And it helps you to make decisions faster and with more confidence. And it helps make packing easy. Like packing can be easy. Surprise. So packing can be easy. All right. I want you all to understand packing light can be easy. Rules help. Okay. Hello, Tracy. Tracy says, my rule is to not pack more than my 19-inch spinner can hold, and I try to make sure there's wiggle room. Good. Love that. Juliet says, my rule is to review my HPM sheet before a trip and stick with it. Love that. HPM is my ultralight packing course. If you would like to sign up for the wait list for the next launch, it is herpackinglist.com/masterclass. Sharon, my main rule is to question myself. Is this realistic? Stops a lot of unnecessary items. Love that. Love that. Okay, so yes, having rules, it's very, very good. It keeps you on track. All right, without further ado, here are 10 general packing light rules / recommendations for that I tend to promote to live by. These are like your quick tick list, okay? All right, so rule number 1, and I say this a lot, I say this on our packing list, I say this in a lot of interviews, presentations, whatever, when I'm talking about packing, no more than a week's worth of clothing for pretty much any length of trip. I know, it's shocking, but people always say, I'm going away for 2 weeks, I'm going away for a month, and I'm like, no, just pack 1 week's worth of clothing. All right, and then you can mix and match, you can wash, you can rewear, and it's a much more manageable amount of stuff to have to haul around wherever you are going, all right? And if you want to go further, if you're going away for 7 days, you don't need 7 of each item. You don't need 7 tops, you don't need 7 bottoms, right? You might need 4 to 5 tops, 2 to 3 bottoms, and then you mix and match, you rewear, right? You might layer certain things. It creates different looks, okay? So just because I say no more than a week's worth of clothing, it doesn't mean that you just instantly go and pick out 7 of each and every item, and that's it, okay? A week's worth of clothing can actually be less than that, okay? All right, rule number 2, it's kind of along the same lines, but no more than 7 pairs of underwear, all right? No more than 7 pairs of underwear. I know, this is a thing I hear about, I see all the time, where it's a common issue or thought process that you're just going to overpack underwear like crazy. You're going to pack 20 pairs of underwear for a 7-day trip. All right. Now I understand because we all want to have clean underwear. But still, the thing is, underwear is really easy to wash, and it's small and it tends to dry quickly. So you can wash and have clean underwear fairly easily. It's much easier to wash underwear than it is to wash a pair of pants or a jacket, right? Or even a top. So just remember that no more than 7. 5 is like a really good number as well to stick to. And I know we all have our own preferences, but unless you're in the middle of nowhere with no time to wash or no access to water to wash, you don't need to pack dozens of pairs of underwear. And I think I was tagged recently somewhere on Instagram. Someone was talking about this in a podcast, and they were just like, I'm packing 21 pairs of underwear. So, yes, they are small. They are small, okay? But packing 25, 21, whatever, it's going to add up, right? And you've got to think about, well, if I packed that much more, what else could I have packed in its place? Could I have packed another outfit or another top or another pair of pants, something like that, okay? So just remember that. Okay, rule number 3. Bag no bigger than 40 liters, which is a round carry-on size, okay? This is for everyone. A bag no bigger than 40 liters for any trip, all right, most trips. But if you want to travel with comfort, a bag no bigger than 28 liters, all right? If you want to travel with comfort, I feel like that's kind of like a tipping point, all right? Now, we always want to consider when we're packing, when we're going on a trip, we always want to consider that no matter what size bag we have, we will fill it. This is a very common thing. If you have this space, you will end up filling it. So even that 40-liter bag, that carry-on bag, you might leave it half full, but like you're probably going to end up adding more or buying things or stuffing more things in because you have this space. And that, even packed full, is going to be quite heavy, right? Even if it's a rolling bag, there's some point where you're going to have to lift that bag. You have to put it in the overhead compartment, take it out of your Uber, pick it up over stairs and all this type of stuff, right? When you pack that carry-on bag full, it's quite heavy, right? And even a 28-liter bag packed full can start to feel heavy, right? It's potentially heavy, but it's kind of like, it's still really manageable at that level. And so I kind of cap it at that. And 28 liters, that's a lot of space. If you've taken HPM, if you've taken my packing class, you will know how much you can actually get into a much smaller bag. So that's like a really good rule to follow. If you want to travel with comfort, that's a good line. All right? Okay, rule number 4, no more than 2 pairs of shoes. No more than 2 pairs of shoes, friends, for most shorter trips anyway. You have to try. You have to try. All right? I'm going to push you to think about this, all right? Think. The rule is no more than 2 pairs of shoes for most shorter trips, okay? There are exceptions to this, okay? I'll talk about that in a minute. But remember, 2 pairs is a really good goal to go for and to think about. Okay, rule number 5. Rule number 5, is no duplicate outerwear options. All right, no duplicate outerwear options. So things like no more than 1 jacket, no more than 1 cardigan, no more than 1 coat, definitely, 1 hat. Okay, and think about that as being your trip cardigan, your trip jacket, your trip hat. Don't pack the 3 jackets, end up wearing 1, and just tote around all of this extra space-sucking like belongings. Don't do that, right? Pack the 1. No duplicate outerwear options. Okay, rule number 6. Only pack as much toiletries as you'll actually use. Big one. Most trips, we actually don't need that much stuff. So do you need that whole bottle of face wash or shampoo? Right? Do you? Even that travel size container? Do you use that all? Are you going to use that all on your trip? So how can you pack just what you need? Think about that. Think very critically about that. Only pack as much toiletries as you'll actually use. That's rule 6. All right. Rule number 7. Pack the more than likely items, not the just in case items. And you know what those are. You'll know what those are when you're going through your list, right? Just in case gets us in trouble. Just in case really, really gets us in trouble. You have to think rationally and logically, and you have to identify the things that are more than likely to get used. And just pack those and be okay with it, right? There's nothing worse than carrying around a ton of dead weight. And a lot of those just in case items will be dead weight. Now, there are other things you will have to evaluate, of course. There will be times where that just in case item is more important than not, okay? So yes, there's got to be wiggle room here, but remember, if you want to pack light, it has to be something that you're like, yeah, I'm more than likely going to use that. That's what you put in your bag. All right, rule number 8. Anything you could probably do without, do without. It seems like a no-brainer, but every single time I help people with packing or we go through my packing class, people always say this. They will go through, they'll list out items and they will say, oh, I could probably do without this, but they pack it anyway. And so if you catch yourself saying this phrase at any time, do without it. Leave it out. All right? Remember this. Okay. Rule number 9. Devices outside of your smartphone only when truly necessary. Okay, these devices also get us into trouble when we're trying to pack later. Okay, so what do I mean by this? I mean things like Kindles, cameras, laptops. Do you actually need it? All right, yes, some trips you will actually need it. Some trips it will make your experience that much better, but you always need to weigh it against your packing experience and how much that is going to affect you or impact your trip as well, okay? Do you actually need these extra items for this trip, or can you get by with just your phone? I talk about this a lot, but I used to really fool myself into thinking I needed my laptop to do work when I'm on different trips, just to find out that I barely did any work at all on these trips, and I probably could have done it on my phone. So really think critically about whether or not that item is truly useful for you, truly important to the travel experience, and so on, okay? All right, now my favorite and final packing light rule. Number 10, pack only as much as you can carry yourself. Pack only as much as you can carry yourself. Yes. And you have to actually identify what that level might be for you. But if seriously, if you can't manage your belongings easily on your own, then you probably want to ditch some items. I think being in control of your belongings is a big part of traveling confidently, all right? And feeling like you are in control and feeling like, you're not a potential target, if you're weighed down or if you're distracted by all of your stuff. Number 1, you're not going to be focusing on what's going on around you as much. And 2, you're not going to be focusing on the travel experience, okay? So really try and pack only what you can handle yourself, if possible. Yes, there are trips where this is maybe not going to happen, special circumstances. I totally understand. But for most trips, you want to be able to be the one that can lift your bag, can put it in the overhead compartment, that can take it up and down the stairs easily. And if that means you can't pack more than 10 pounds, then that should be your packing goal if you can, okay? All right. Okay, so those are my 10 go-to packing rules. All right, and Miranda, you're very welcome for those packing tips. I hope you enjoyed them. Now, I want you all to remember that these are just rules. They're more like guidelines, and rules will be broken from time to time. There will be trips where these do not compute, and that's totally okay. And you still have to do the work to figure out the rules that will be best for you, okay? These are my go-to rules. I think they're a really great starting point for most people. They're a thing to strive for. But it will depend on your situation, and it'll depend on you and what is important to you as well. Okay, now if you want, you can learn a method that will make all of these rules pretty much no-brainers for you. And you can learn the HPL packing method inside my packing class. It is at herpackinglist.com/masterclass. Sign up for the waitlist if you want to become a packing master. All right. Now, one last point before I wrap up today. One last point. Let me get my slide up. What do you do when you think these rules won't suffice? All right. What do you do when you think these rules won't be enough for you or they won't work for you? For example, if you think you'll need more than 2 pairs of shoes for a specific trip, do you just bypass these rules and go on to packing more? Okay? Do you? My response is a big no. Always start by implementing the harder rules, okay? Now, what that does is it helps you to start smaller and it helps you to really focus on maybe making it work, right? If you think that you can only bring 2 pairs of shoes with you on this trip, you might really think hard about these 2 pairs of shoes, and maybe you will actually come up with some sort of 2-pair solution, okay? But if you instantly jump to needing 3, if you're like, I need 3, this rule doesn't matter for me, then you know what? You're never going to make that 2-shoe possibility happen. You're never going to make that option become a reality, all right? So I really want you all to make some, really harder rules. Don't go too wishy-washy. So, even the 40-liter bag rule is like, it's a lot of stuff in my opinion, but it is still carry-on. And that's why I tell you, no, but if you want comfort, go for the 28-liter. And if you like that idea, make the 28-liter bag your rule, not the 40-liter, okay? So these rules are a really great starting point, but you have to, kind of adjust them accordingly to your own needs and your own wants, your own packing light goals, all right? But it's important that you actually do the work, as always. And you have to practice. Remember episode P, practice, practice, practice. And into the comments we got Tracy. Those are all excellent rules. I struggle with shoes. Yeah, I typically take 3 shoes total on every trip. And she also says HPM was great. It really helped me pack way lighter. Awesome. So glad to hear that. So yeah, maybe Tracy, maybe you push yourself to attempt 2 pairs of shoes on your next trip and see what you can come up with. Maybe you can seek out another pair of shoes that can do the work of 2. You never know. All right. Okay, friends, that's going to do it for me today for episode R of the ABCs of Packing Light. And our word today was rules. If you like what you heard today and if it resonated with you, be sure to like this video, leave me a comment letting me know. And of course, be sure to tune in next week, same time, same place for episode S. All right, once again, I'm Brooke from Her Packing List, and I want you to reach your packing light goals. Be sure to check out herpackinglist.com for more great packing tips and advice. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely evening, a lovely day, wherever you are in the world. Take care. Bye.